It begins with a young teenage female voice narrator narrating to us, we the viewer, that everyone always said she would end up in a bad way, and her last name is cursed, and she would be dead or be a killer before graduation. However, in a way, she guessed they were all right. Once the narrator was done, the scene shifted to 2 days earlier, as she explains to us that it all went down in Shadyside, where the future crawls to die. Unlike their perfect neighbors in Sunnyvale, they are kind of a shit show, as people believe the town is cursed with the opinion that something happens to people that make them snap, and not everyone want to be known for that. She also informed us that for the upcoming prom, 6 different individuals, including her, are running for prom queen, which is simply the perfect girl to represent the prefect new Shadyside. Although aside all this, not everyone is really obsessed with prom. So during their lectures, some group of teenagers made a bad joke towards Lori in bid to piss her off. Just then, Megan furiously stood up from her seat and immediately took out a knife from her bag, before then proceeding to cutting her hand, which made everyone a bit traumatized. Unfortunately for them, Megan was just playing a trick on them to teach all a lesson, so unluckily for her, she was sent immediately to the principal office. After which, Lori and her discuss about how she pulled that off and also about the upcoming prom. They both hope to find a beautiful dress for Lori. Given the fact Lori needed money for her prom dress, she headed straight into her workplace at school cafeteria later that evening, where she stared at some of her course mates, including Tiffany's boyfriend named Tyler Torres, which seems to be Lori's crush. After which, she proceeded to serve them their order, but unfortunately, Tiffany noticed her boyfriend staring back at Lori, so yet again, Tiffany continued to stress and make fun of Lori. Once they all left, Tyler came back to get his clothes, which Lori helped him out with, which also led to the two having a discussion about their childhood. Later that night, when Lori was home, we get to find out that Lori's mother don't really like the fact that her daughter was contesting for prom because it brings up bad memories. On the other hand, Tiffany checked out her prom dress at home, and her both parents were amazed by the fact that she would definitely be the next prom queen. At that exact moment, Melissa came to Tiffany so she could lend her a dress for prom. So the two went upstairs to party and have fun for the night. Meanwhile, nearby, a young girl named Christy got dropped off by her boyfriend, and the two exchanged their goodbyes. So just as she was on her way home, she noticed and heard some steps behind her. So curious Christy decided to just stand and wait to know what that was. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a man with an axe began to work towards her, a red jacket man. Unluckily for her, Christy wasn't able to react fast as the red jacket man stroked her with his axe and she died. The next day at school, all the prom queens were called up for rehearsals, and since Christy wasn't present for the rehearsal, she was disqualified. Meanwhile, the other girls continued to make Lori feel left out. So just as she was alone, the vice principal came to encourage Lori by informing her that this is her chance to shine. So thinking everything was going well for Lori, on Lori's way back home, Tiffany approached Lori, before then informing her not to ruin their prom, just like the way her mom ruined her prom during her days. The scene then shifted to Megan looking for Christy since she had Megan prom stash, but her boyfriend does not also know her whereabouts. Back to the killer, who is now in an undisclosed location, then open a yearbook, is seen canceling Christy's face, after which he burns her belongings. The next day, everybody began to prepare for their prom night event. While Lori put on her prom dress, her mother came in to cheer her up. She narrates and explained to her daughter how she was accused of killing her husband on the night of her prom. Later on, Megan and Lori went for their prom night together, and once it was time, all the contestants were called to the stage to speak to the audience, as voting begins around 11 p.m. for their prom king and queen. During this, there was a presentation from the girls, and obviously Lori was left out as the other girls danced and present in differently dressed attire, making Lori look different. So Lori, now feeling embarrassed, ran out of the stage to meet her best friend, Megan. Lori began to complain to Megan regarding how the crowd didn't even notice her standing. Meanwhile, Linda and Bobby, who is her prom date, decided to go upstairs in order to get the rest of her flyers. So while at it, they both noticed that her flyers had been messed with by someone in school. At this exact moment, while they both react, they noticed and heard some footsteps. So Linda decided to go check who it was, as thought it would definitely be the person responsible for destroying her flyers. Once she returned back to meet Bobby, Bobby was traumatized as Linda was bleeding profusely from her stomach. Immediately, Bobby tried running for his life, but unfortunately for him, the killer caught him, and after much struggle between the two, the killer cut his both hands. During this, Bobby managed to escape from the killer, but unluckily for him, he wasn't able to open the door, which eventually led to his death. Meanwhile, at the party, no one is yet to figure out something weird is really going on. Lori, on the other hand, continues to hold a pretty good conversation with Tyler. Unfortunately, while this was going on, there was a loud scream again.
Oh my God!
And this time, it was Tiffany's head that was found in a bowl, but it was just a mannequin head. Once this was figured out, this was obvious that this was just one of Megan's tricks, which made everyone mad as it almost ruined their night. However, once Megan tried to explain to Lori that she did it because of what the girls did to her earlier, it was evident that Lori wasn't happy about it this time as she told Megan that she wanted to win prom queens and change the story, so Megan apologized before then leaving. Judd, who is also Debbie's date, told Debbie he got a gift for her and they should go to the basement for a more private time together so he can also give her the present. Nearby, the principal informed Lori that she had a delivery outside. Back to Debbie and Judd, they both got to the basement, so Judd gave her a necklace which Debbie loved, so he helped her with it. Lori, on the other hand, received her package, which was a flower, but she didn't know who they were from. Meanwhile, just as Debbie and Judd were both discussing, they suddenly heard a rattle noise, but they ignored it thinking it was just some rat. Sadly, the killer made a crazy entrance by cutting Judd's head. Seeing this, Debbie started screaming in serious shock. Fortunately, Megan heard this scream from where she was, while Debbie ran into a bunch of naked wires and she was electrocuted to death, thereby leaving the contestants 3. While at the same prom night, Lori was walking back to the party when she ran into Tiffany and Melissa. Tiffany was jealous that Lori has been staring and watching her boyfriend. She even became more jealous when she saw that Lori got some flowers. In anger, she began to insult Lori, making fun of her mom's sad story. Lori left angrily. Melissa also didn't like it, and she followed Lori. She went to where Lori was and gave her a bag of makeup to cheer up her face. Lori came back into the party. She was getting lots of stares because of the beautiful makeover she is putting on. Just then, Tiffany came up to her because she didn't like that Melissa was now with Lori. So while a little argument erupted, Tiffany became more furious at Melissa, so she poured drink on her dress. This made Melissa to angrily leave to go change. Just then, there was a dance competition between Lori and Tiffany, and Lori was getting lots of applause, leaving Tiffany more and more jealous. Back in the closet where Melissa was changing, she saw a strange man staring at her. At first, Melissa stared back at him thinking it was one of those Megan trick, but once she started feeling the awkwardness, she was so scared and she started running. She ran into another man. While she turned, she was stabbed, leaving the prom contestant between just Lori and Tiffany. No one at the party knew what was going on. Just as Megan talked to a friend, she noticed someone putting on a red dress, but when she goes to check it out, she couldn't find anyone. Megan tried warning Lori that almost all the prom queen's contestants are missing, so she is of the opinion that someone is doing something fishy at this prom party. Unfortunately, Lori wasn't willing to hear all this, given the fact she is having the time of her life in school for the first time, and also even with her crush. Due to this misunderstanding, the two friends had a serious argument, which made Megan to leave angrily, while Tyler took Lori upstairs. While they were upstairs, Tyler tried to make advances to her, but Lori wasn't happy because of her misunderstanding with Megan. Just then, Tyler was stabbed from the back. Lori, seeing this, began to scream, before then running for her own life. Megan, on the other hand, was at the basement in search of the missing people. She saw some lifeless bodies there. She started screaming. Lori caught up with Megan when she was running, and they both tried to find a hiding place as the killer was pursuing them. So the two ran into a room in which they hid for a while. Quickly, the killer continued to search for them, but wasn't able to see them. When he left, they continued running, and they ran into a particular room. They saw their prom book and some canceled faces there. This is now becoming more intense as the killer made it easily into the room there were, but luckily for them, they were able to escape through a window. As they both ran to the party to inform the rest about what was going on, the principal announced the prom queen was Lori. Unfortunately, before she could tell the rest what was going on, the killer made his way into the ceremony and started brutally killing people. The killer cut the principal's arm before then going for Lori and bid to eliminate her. As he was about doing so, Megan saved her. So he tried to kill Megan too, but Lori stabbed his face with her crown. Just as they tried to find out who it was, in a plot twist, it was Tiffany's dad. He said he did all that because he knew how much his daughter wanted to be prom queen. He believes no one will remember the details but only the winner. At this moment, everyone was shocked, and not long the police came. Later that evening, Lori apologized to Megan about how she acted earlier on and was taken to the hospital, caused she sustained some injuries. Lori also went to console Tiffany about what happened to her and offered to follow her home while her mother was taken for questioning. So when they got home, Tiffany asked that Lori to stay with her for the night and she agreed. Tiffany's mother was asked to go back home to her daughter. Considering what just happened, the cops let her go. Once Tiffany's mom got home, she took a knife and walking towards the girls' room. Just as the girls were sleeping, Lori heard a noise and went to check what it was. She and Tiffany saw her with a knife and she was scared. So they started running. They hid and Tiffany started talking differently. She wanted to kill her too, and Lori started running from the both of them. Unluckily for Lori, just as she found her way out, Tiffany's mom caught her. Before they then planned to kill her, But before that, Tiffany's mother told Lori that she was the one that killed her dad and also put the blame on her mom because her mom stole the prom queen from her. So during this flaw from Tiffany's mom, which was talking too much, Lori was able to push Tiffany, and she fell off the stairs. While Lori and Tiffany's mom both scream in shock, a chase erupted which eventually led to Lori also hitting Tiffany's mother head using an award from their archive, thereby killing her. Lori left the house in shock before then finally acknowledging who she truly is, which was Lori Granger. The movie then came to an ending. Kindly subscribe for more horror recap like this. Thanks for watching and goodbye.